Under the watchful eyes of his neighbors, the man kissed his wife, her face glowing with happiness, unaware that once out of sight, her husband was vigorously wiping his lips. In his heart, his disdain for her had reached a point where he felt compelled to take medication. The only reason he hadn't divorced her was his greed for her vast fortune. After arriving at the restaurant she had opened for him, the man, instead of focusing on his work, was consumed by thoughts of how to claim her wealth for himself. In fact, since this idea had taken root, he had repeatedly suggested adding his name to her assets, but her responses were always dismissive. Frustrated, he decided to visit his assistant's home to unwind. Seeing his boss in distress, the thoughtful assistant handed him a prepared vial of liquid, claiming it could solve all his troubles if he could somehow get his wife to consume it. Holding the vial, the man hesitated briefly before heading to the supermarket to buy a bottle of red wine. In the dimly lit parking lot at midnight, he injected the liquid into the wine. As he calmed himself after completing the task, he noticed a suspicious car speeding away. Uneasy but undeterred, he hurried home. Just as he was pondering how to get his wife to drink the wine, he spotted bloodstains on the ground nearby. Panicked, he rushed inside, calling out for her, but there was no response. Even her ever-present phone was unreachable. Returning to the living room, he noticed an envelope on the dining table. Opening it, he was shocked to find a demand for 200 million yuan in exchange for his wife's life. Realizing she had been kidnapped, he calmly called the police, thinking he only needed to play along since he wouldn't have to act himself. However, the investigators immediately noticed the bottle of wine on the table. The man quickly explained he had just bought it, and it wasn't part of the crime scene. Fortunately, they didn't press further. After the investigators finished collecting evidence, the man finally relaxed, lying comfortably in bed, knowing that if he didn't pay the ransom, he could inherit his wife's fortune. This joy lasted until the next day when the police returned. The man, who had been gleeful moments before, quickly put on a worried expression. The officers presented a letter from the kidnappers, but as it was opened, a familiar fingernail fell onto the table.